Hey everybody, I'm Gary Muse from DATV, and I'm joined by Gary Muse Sr., my dad. And we thought we'd do sort of just a little special thing because there's a family recipe that my dad makes that he got from my grandmother, his mom, Loida Muse, and we thought we'd make it for you today. And what are we making, Dad?
We're making an old-fashioned spaghetti sauce.
Nice. Yeah, and this will be a spaghetti sauce that isn't just spices and some veggies, but it will also have two kinds, well actually three kinds of meat. We're going to put
Hamburg, sweet sausages, and hot sausages.
Right. So if we weren't putting any meat in it, then it may be able to be called a marinara sauce. But when it has meat in it, it's a spaghetti sauce.
Exactly.
So why don't we start by talking about some of the ingredients. Now we have some ingredients that we're not going to use yet. All of this is eventually going to go into a large pot to simmer.
Okay.
And that's when we'll have some cans of crushed tomato and paste in the action.
Yep.
But for now, we're dealing mostly with spices and veggies. So why don't you talk through, tell us what we have here.
Well, first we have 7 or 8 pieces of celery, which is going to be chopped up. And then we have a package of mushrooms also chopped up. A large green pepper chopped up. A ration of garlic, raw garlic that's chopped up. And then we add spices to it, such as basil, parsley, oregano, garlic powder, a mixture of salt, Himalayan salt, black pepper, and some hot pepper flakes. And then finally, to top it all off, there will be about a quarter cup or better of dark brown sugar and onions.
Excellent. So
That's pretty much it.
So yeah, in the interest of time, we already got going on some of the chopping, but we didn't want to do it all and deprive you of seeing that. So let's finish up what we have to do.
All right, well, we could probably start chopping up some of the celery. I've taken the big stalks of celery and I've cut them down the center. It makes a finer celery. And I'm just chopping them into quarter-inch size pieces. And again, we're using about 6 or 8 pieces of celery to do this. And simply chop. I'd like to try that yourself, Gary.
Yeah, I'd be remiss if I didn't do a little bit of the work here.
Okay.
So what are your memories, Dad, of your mom making this sauce? Do you remember it as early as young as you can remember?
It was from the initial smell of the sauce, which really got your juices flowing. And the spices that she used were just perfect. And she was mostly known for a marinara, again, a meatless sauce. And then my dad used to make a meat sauce, so thick that you could stand a spoon up in the middle of it and it wouldn't even move.
So as we were talking off camera,
delicious.
Kind of like sloppy Joe thick.
Yeah, sort of, yeah.
So you telling me
Without the mess.
You had competing sauces in the house? Did that cause any issues?
Never. 'Cause
Competition? Friendly competition?
Whichever one was there was wonderful.
Yeah.
I can't say more about that.
So there's your celery.
Well, and a pretty good job at that, yeah. So, let's see.
Now these are eventually going to just go into the pan.
Container.
Yeah. Let me get us.
Yeah, I just need a smaller container
grab
for the
us.
celery.
Let me use this for now, just to
That's
sort of.
stupid.
Yeah, but just for now.
That's huge.
I'll get a smaller one. We make this up as we go along.
Okay.
This one's not so big. Let's use that. So we're going to be cutting up several of these vegetables, and we're just going to throw them all into this large bowl because they're eventually just going to all go into the fry pan,
That's correct.
the saute pan.
So now we're going to move on to finish the mushrooms. As you see, they've been already chopped to the large degree. And we're just simply slicing them, nice fresh mushrooms. You can also use canned mushrooms, but there's nothing like fresh, I believe.
Now it's funny, I'm not much of a mushroom person, but one of the few times that I will eat mushrooms is when it's in a sauce.
Yeah.
Because sort of, you almost, for me, I forget they're there. But for someone who likes mushrooms, you probably pay attention to, I want to get some more mushrooms in this
They
bite.
also take on the flavor of the sauce itself, I find. So
Yeah.
you can fool the taste buds. And all the time, it's just mushrooms. And assorted spices, naturally. And I should get my hands out of the way here. You want to try this, guy?
Sure. And this is completely new for me because, like I said, I'm not much of a mushroom person.
Fingers are still there.
Yeah. So I'll take the little stem off, as you were doing, and then slice.
Yeah.
And we'll
You
go.
can slice, chop, dice, whatever you like.
Yeah, because that's the beauty of it. If you like a certain way to cut your veggies, there's
Whatever.
no right or wrong way to do it.
Not at all.
Because at the end of the day, it's going to taste the same.
It's all incorporated.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Thanks.
We-
Well, I think you went the other way as well. I mean, but
either way.
they're getting smaller anyway, so. Oh, no, actually, I did it the same way. I'll let you finish up there.
All right, sure.
So, so this is obviously spaghetti sauce, which, you know, I grew up with my other grandmother, my mom's mom, who also made a sauce. And I remember that sauce is not just to put over pasta. If you have some fresh bread, I have fond memories of going over and dipping the bread in and enjoying it that
Sorry,
way.
Jeff. All right, that takes care of the mushrooms.
That's a lot of mushrooms.
So we got celery, we got mushrooms. How about a green pepper? One large green pepper should usually cover it.
Now, do you specifically like green, or is it just what you've used? Because
Anything else would just be maybe a color.
yeah, because I was going to say sometimes people incorporate certain ingredients for the visual part of it. So
That's true.
I may take this recipe and do a green, a red,
Yeah.
and a yellow, just because it gives it a little bit more color. But again, when it's in a red sauce, I suppose it doesn't matter as much. You're
That's
probably
true.
lose that anyway.
Plus a green pepper normally, if left to really ripen, turns yellow or red anyway,
Yeah,
eventually.
yeah, that's true.
So we're just starting with the basic green pepper, which, you know, just
Sure.
seems to be a good way to do it.
Yeah.
And again, everything just gets chopped up in whatever fashion you like it. Nothing fancy.
Yeah, because ultimately you have to remember this is unlike maybe if you're having this go along with a steak that you're cutting. This is in a sauce, and you really don't want to be left with too large of a chunk of anything.
Exactly,
So,
exactly. There will be no Heimlich maneuver with this.
and we haven't even started to saute anything. And you hear this all the time on cooking shows, but if only you could smell, you know, when you're watching this, you can start to smell all the spices and the veggies and whatnot. And we were sure to cut the onions completely before before we got on began recording because, you know, we didn't want to have grown men crying on camera.
That's the truth. I never can get past that. As many cures as there are for it.
Right.
Some people say, hold a match in your mouth and it won't work. It won't make you cry.
I say the thing that works probably the best is you cut it under, say, running cold water.
Yeah.
But again, we're
Or-
not set up here
or-
to really do
Or
that.
breathe through your mouth. That's another one. Instead of your nose.
Yeah.
It's
Or wear
crazy.
one of those face shields in this COVID age, I suppose.
Well, leave onions out of the recipe.
Right. All right, so you've got your celery that we chopped. We chopped up the mushrooms, green pepper, and we had pre-chopped up some white onions. But again, you could use any onions, I suppose. You could use
Any, yeah.
Vidalia, yellow, whatever. And then, of course, you've got all the spices laid out. So what is next? Are we thinking we're going to heat the pan
I
up?
think we're going to heat the pan up. We've put about, in this case, a good quarter of a cup of virgin olive oil into the
Yeah.
fry pan. We're going
Just
to heat
enough
that.
to cover the bottom.
Just enough to cover the bottom, maybe a little
I'll
thick,
switch with you here.
little deeper than just covering, because we are going to incorporate all of these vegetables into this pan, and we want them all to be well coated with the seasonings and the oil naturally. But first, we have to bring it up to temperature. First ingredient we'll be putting in will be garlic, and garlic will be sautéed till it's a light golden brown. And then the other vegetables will be incorporated. Once those are incorporated, we will add the spices. Once that's all done, we're going to add the Hamburg. When that's mixed in well, we're going to add hot and sweet sausages, baked and cut up nice into pieces. And then we incorporate all of that into our large pot for the sauce itself.
Yeah, we'll actually be using a very large pot. It's about a 16 quart pot. But the thing is, you know, where there's effort that goes into making something like this, it's nice to make a nice amount because then you can put a lot of it in containers and freeze it and use it over time.
If it makes it into the containers
That's right.
to begin with.
That's right. If it does. But I think this is such a big batch that we have a good because obviously our staff here is going to want to. You want to leave that there? Yeah. Our staff is going to want to partake in this.
Yes.
So we'll probably pair this with a linguine before this program is finished. So
Absolutely. Or all by itself.
that's right.
If you
True.
like.
Now, while this is heating up, how have you coped with the things that have been happening for the last sort of 2 years of the whole COVID? You pretty much doing things your normal schedule for the most part?
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Because he doesn't sit. He's
don't
up
sit.
early, very early in the morning, and then
Yeah.
you've got a routine, and you're out and about.
I am.
Yeah,
I am. And that's been going on for 80 years, so.
yeah. Well,
Why
just
not?
about.
Just
Yeah,
about. Yeah.
that's right. We should say that we're recording this in early December, and in just a week and a half's time, the big 8-0.
Yeah.
So happy birthday in advance, Dad.
Thanks, son.
80
Appreciate
years
it.
old. You look great, though.
Thank you. Thank you.
So this was all stuff he told
I'm
me that I
here
had to
all
say
week.
before we got on camera. yeah. Try the veal.
I'm here all week.
Yeah.
What?
So this is again, this is an olive oil that's in the pan. Now,
Mm-hmm.
do you have to use olive? Could it be a vegetable oil? Does it matter what kind of oil?
You
it
could
is?
use vegetable oil.
But so this is your preference is an olive oil.
Olive oil seems to be the healthier choice
Yeah.
above all of them, so
Yeah.
we try to do that at the
Sure.
same time.
And this is probably kind of up to speed. Now, do you have any little tests? I know sometimes you could throw like
Yeah,
one
I
little piece
put a
of the
little,
veggie.
little piece of
Yeah,
garlic.
you can see if it sort of starts to simmer up. So we'll
Yeah.
see if this is
I'll
coming
just
up to
throw a
heat at
piece
all.
in.
Yeah, it's coming. Oh, there it is. Got a little bit of sizzle.
Yeah, it's coming along.
So it's coming up to heat. Not it's not too bad. Not taking
Yeah.
too long, which is a good thing.
Yeah, you don't want it to be black. You don't want to burn the garlic. You just want to get it to be a light golden brown
Sure.
and retains its flavor. Adds pretty nice taste to the sauce overall. In addition to the garlic, the raw garlic, we're also using garlic powder.
Let me make sure this stays on.
That also, adds to the garlic part of it.
Yep.
And the other flavors just seem to incorporate nicely to make this sauce.
I'm gonna just restart this up. These can be a little finicky sometimes. By the way, if you didn't know already, we use what's called an inductive range here.
Uh-huh.
The nice thing is an inductive heats up pretty fast, and we make sure that we have cookware that works with inductive, and it's also can be plugged into a standard 110 outlet.
And you won't burn your hands.
Well, right, because what happens is this isn't theoretically heating up; it's sending energy to the bottom of the pan.
Anything metal will be heated up.
Right, but the heat of the pan, passes back onto the glass surface, and
Yeah.
so it may be at least warm to the touch. So
Yes,
I still
yes.
wouldn't put my hand down on
No,
it.
and you don't want to wear a ring and put your hand on it either because you'll burn.
Right. So that's beginning to come up to heat now. You can see that piece of garlic.
Yeah, we're watching it. Just want to get it, if that is its hottest point for
Yeah.
this particular stove.
Yeah, maybe we can give people a close look at. This is our test piece of garlic that's in there, and just keep the surface, because you got to keep it in contact. That's the pain in the neck with this.
What is that button?
There it is again.
What's that beep? What is it?
Because you gotta keep the pan has to stay in contact with, you can't.
Oh, so you
lift-
can't.
Right,
start-
yeah,
all right.
it is what it is.
Okay.
It's just one of those things. We keep learning.
On your regular stove, you should be able to lift it and move it around, but this is a special situation.
Yeah. So these inductive things can be temperamental, where it wants to have the
Right.
inductive cookware sort of in contact. So you think we're about ready to put things
Well,
in?
we've got a couple of pieces of garlic
that's right,
we
we
can finish
left
cutting here, so I'll just
That's right. I forgot about
do a
that.
couple of slices.
Now, for those that want to know about how much garlic, like if you were buying cloves, is this one clove? Is it a couple of cloves?
This is about 6 cloves of garlic.
So you got that garlic
Yeah.
chopped up. Oh, and so when you're buying garlics, like if you buy like a sort of the whole garlic, is that what's in here? Is it more than that? Less than that?
It's at least a whole garlic, yes. Made up of cloves of garlic, obviously.
We cheated though because we bought some garlic that already comes, it's already out of the
It's out of its
shell,
husk.
the husk, yeah.
But you could also use chopped garlic that's available in a jar.
Yep.
Or you can go the old-fashioned way is simply to get fresh garlic and chop it up yourself.
Or even minced. It
I'm going to
comes in-
incorporate, we've got a nice little golden brown
So
going
we'll
on
go
us
pan.
on our sample piece in the pan. So I'm going to incorporate the rest of the garlic and let that saute till there's a golden brown. And I will be moving it around as that happens.
I'll give you 2 options here.
Yeah. with a little paddle or
Keep
something.
that in contact.
Again, you're looking for a golden brown, and when you have the heat up like this, it shouldn't take too long to brown. And that's when you want to keep an eye on it, moving it around. And once you start incorporating the other vegetables, there will be less chance of burning anything. So we don't want to do that. And this is a really nice non-stick pan that we're using also.
So the key is to keep it moving.
Keep
You
it
always want
moving.
to keep it moving, keep it moving.
in that saute. It's at a fairly high heat to do this,
Yeah.
and we will probably lower that
I was
somewhat.
going to say, we can take that down when you think the time
Yeah.
is right.
But as you can see, it's turning a nice golden brown color. And that's exactly what you want. You just don't want to overcook it so it's brown, so it's black,
Sure.
because that will give you a black, literally a charcoal taste. So that looks pretty good right there. I'm going to go with that.
I'll be your assistant with the ingredients. What do you want
Okay.
to go with next?
Let's dump the onions. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to take, this is the white onions that we had pre-chopped. How many onions did we use?
About 2.5.
Okay. And in they go.
Or 3 small. It's okay. And I'm just quickly going to stir that into the mixture of the garlic and the olive oil, and try to get it evenly coated as possible under the circumstances. We are going to be covering this in a little while to steam the vegetables down a little bit and make more room for everything else that's going to join it, as far as that goes.
Hopefully we'll have enough room.
Yeah, hopefully. Oh, we don't need that one little piece there. It looked like an end piece on the onion. We don't need that. So, having said that,
Now, where do you want to see the onion get to? Because I know sometimes as it cooks, it becomes translucent. Are you certain
it
looking
is,
for something?
no, at this point, I just want it to be coated with the olive oil
Okay.
and the garlic pieces. Now, mushrooms we can dump next.
All right. This is probably the remaining sizable ingredient that we have.
Yeah, and that will reduce quite a bit once it's steamed down a bit.
Sure.
There's
Yeah,
a-
that's the other thing. Is as full as this pan is getting, stuff will shrink down and settle. And,
Absolutely.
Yeah, which is good.
But just again, trying to keep things moving,
Make sure you
keep them well coated at all possible.
Yeah, keep it. Don't want to let it move too much.
And that seems to be incorporating nicely. What do you think, yeah?
Looking good.
All right. Why don't we throw in the peppers next? We'll just adjust the stove a little bit.
There we go. And what do you want to go with next?
Peppers.
All right, so we've got the green pepper.
Green pepper, which was 1 large. You can use more. It's a
There we go.
personal taste. And again, incorporating. Everybody gets a shot at touching each other in this sauce. For sure.
Now, we talked about, the different color peppers. I suppose, just for this part of the process, and I guess being on TV, if we had gone with, say, a yellow or a red, you've already got the green celery, and so that you just would have all these colors going on. But at the end of the day, in a sauce,
Yeah,
it really doesn't matter.
You're not looking at 100%.
And there's the celery. Not a ton of celery.
No. No, like I said, about 6 or 8 celeries, sliced down the middle, lengthwise, then chopped into, 1/4-inch pieces. And as you can see, this incorporates really well because of the prep work, naturally.
And let's ask our crew, if we can get it even really tight on this, we can really get an idea of what's going on in there.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Let's give them a really close look here, because sometimes you can see what's going on, and sometimes it's hard.
I'm getting hungry. I don't know
Yeah,
about
me
you.
too. The smell, like I said, the smell.
Oh, and we haven't even put the spices in yet.
That's right.
It's wonderful.
So I guess the question now is approximately how long would this process now go? How long would you give it? With everything?
Until all of the vegetables have softened
Okay.
and, they're well incorporated with flavoring and so forth.
Yep.
And then it gets incorporated into the big pan with the sauce itself, the crushed tomatoes And
Now,
then
at what point will the spices get added? Is that you
we're
let this
going to
cook
add them
first?
right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so
We've
do you have a
incorporated
preference?
all the products.
Perfect.
It doesn't matter.
All right, so this one is your, is this your parsley?
This would be the
Or the
basil.
basil, yeah. So
All
I
right.
don't know my spices.
And we said about a third of a cup,
Yeah.
I believe. In my case, my mother, I learned to use palmfuls of seasoning. So this is actually a couple of palmfuls, my palms.
Right. So
then-
literally, you take your
Literally,
palm and a little bit
yeah.
of spice in that,
Yep.
so,
Same with the parsley.
yeah.
Incorporate that. And then we have oregano, another special part of the flavoring. And then we have garlic powder incorporated. And we have a mixture of Himalayan salt, black pepper, and red pepper flakes.
And obviously, depending on how much heat you want in a sauce, you could go a little bit more in the red pepper flakes. You could go all hot Italian sausage and no
And you
sweet
can always add it
afterwards for taste.
yourself to
Yeah.
your own
Right.
serving, if you will.
Yeah. It's sort of like they say, especially with salt,
Right.
and and from health-wise, most people try to add salt to taste instead of adding too much during the cooking. So, same thing with the heat. You could.
The last ingredient we're going to add into the sauce, once the vegetables and the meat and everything is put into the big pot, the very last thing we do is add about a half a cup of brown sugar.
Now, this is the most interesting ingredient I found. I would never have guessed. Is that to give it some sweetness, I imagine?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to fight you on that. I
This
really like
this
the
would
sweet
be
sauce.
called a sweet sauce, but not terribly sweet, just
Yeah.
just enough to take the acidity away.
Sure.
And now I'm just incorporating all of this with the veggies.
And again, it smells wonderful. So I
Oh, yeah.
do feel bad for the folks at home that can't be here right now to smell
Yeah.
it.
Although we may have a spaghetti dinner planned soon.
That's right.
For $300 a ticket. Just kidding, folks. Just kidding. I would say that's pretty well incorporated. What do you think?
Looks good. And now we're going to let this sort of cook for a while, or what does this do at this point?
We're going to do at this point is we're going to put a cover on it to help enhance the heat.
Yep, I think it's the one that's down.
Right there.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. We don't really have a glass cover for this, so we're stealing our crock pot cover,
Yeah.
which works just fine.
Yeah, so if you put that on, then maybe lift up one side and put a wooden spoon to lift up one side of the pan, one side of the cover. It'll steam the vegetables.
Gotta love that reflection, the funhouse reflection we're getting here.
And that's
Awesome. So
and
we'll let this simmer for a bit.
that is the vegetable mixture to begin with.
Great.
Next step we're waiting on is hamburger,
Yeah, we'll be taking that out shortly.
and then we have sausages, hot and sweet sausages.
So I think we're ready to take a look. Let's see
Yeah,
how
the vegetables are simmering down, getting a little bit smaller. It's time to take the hamburger out of the oven.
Yeah. Now the Hamburg was in a 350-degree oven, and it's about 3 pounds of Hamburg. 375, my bad. 375. And it was basically just out of the package and sitting in the pan, almost like a
Made a
meatball.
big picture of a big hamburger patty,
Well, they're going to see it.
and it's going to come out of the oven right now.
And you're going to put it over here, I think. We'll just...
Well, the first thing I'm going to do, I need that.
Oh, what do you need? This?
I got to pour the fat into that.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
All right, so we're going to pour off any fat that's boiled down, fried down, if you will. Now, let's do this, guy. Can you take that and hold the burger?
Sure. So it really is just like a big hamburger, and we're just
Big hamburger, just draining off all the visible fat, which is reduced quite a bit. We do not use that fat again. That leaves. That's a throwaway.
But what's left in there, we'll just add
And
to
that'll
the
do
flavor
it.
of the sauce. So we're finished with this.
Oh.
For now.
And that was what? That was 3 pounds of hamburger
Yeah.
that we did.
Right.
Now, we're going to simply take a spatula and chop it up. You can do that any way you like. You can do it in big pieces, small pieces. I tend to just chop it across like so, till they get into some kind of chunks. And then I go back in with the same tool and chop it up into smaller pieces, which is where Gary comes in. Oh, I am Gary. No, the other Gary.
The other Gary. Well, the thing to remember too is that, again, this is a sauce, and so you don't really want to leave giant chunks of anything in there.
Never.
Because, again,
Unless it's, those are called meatballs if you do that.
That's right. It tastes like a meatball, but we're not making meatballs.
That's right. And there was no spices at all added to this hamburger while it was cooking. It's straight,
Just straight
reduction.
from the package. By the
Reduction.
way, I know you can use different degrees of fat hamburger. This particular one was 85%.
Yeah, yeah, very flavorful. Because you do need some fat in your burgers,
That's right.
so why not have it in your sauce, huh? You want to keep chopping
Sure.
there, guy? Yeah.
Sure. I'll
And
just-
hold the pan.
Yeah, just in case. Don't want to. So again, you just want to make sure that what's left here is not giant chunks.
Yeah. Break it right down into pieces. It's just repetition, but it works.
And I
nobody-
imagine that it naturally in the sauce it further breaks down
That's
into
true.
pieces.
That's
so,
true.
So if you at least you're getting them roughly into the bite sizes that
And
you
you'll be
want.
stirring the sauce occasionally.
Right.
Also. Yeah, that's pretty nice if you can see that. Oh yeah, see? That's very nice. And again, it's up to yourself as far as the pieces.
I think that's probably pretty good.
It'll incorporate real well. There's a big chunk right here, guys. There you go. And this by itself, at this point, you put that in a little dish and maybe just a little salt and pepper. Wonderful. Wonderful. A gentleman's sloppy Joe, not so sloppy.
So this is now going to be added to the existing skillet.
This is now going to be added to the existing skillet.
So what I'll do is, if you want, I can. Would you like me to hold the pan for you?
I'll put that there first.
I'll take this one as well. You just worry about the spoon, and I'll deal with this, holding this one. But keep that in contact, remember. Keep it right about there. It's a little finicky.
Well, that's two of us. Now, there may or may not be enough room in here, and that's okay. So just tip it up for me, and I'll bring it over the middle. Bring it right over the
Try
middle.
to not block the
No,
camera.
no. Oh, I see, okay.
Okay. So if you do that, we can let the folks at home see what we're doing.
Yeah, put it up straight, yeah. There you go. All right, let's back off a little bit now, and let me
we go.
incorporate this.
So we didn't dump it all in yet because it's a
You
good
want-
sized pan, but it isn't giant. You almost need a
Exactly.
wok for this, for crying out loud.
Actually, when I used to make the sauce at home, that's exactly what I used. I used a wok.
Oh.
It was wonderful. Okay, so now we can incorporate the rest, I think.
Yeah, oh, let me get this for you.
All right.
Sorry. Just getting the oven ready for us.
Okay. And that's all the hamburgers now in with the vegetables.
So that's 3 pounds of hamburger. Again, 3 pounds in a package becomes significantly less once it's cooked. But that's 3 pounds of hamburger.
Yeah. So you'll lose about maybe a half a pound of fat,
Yeah.
something like that. Now, normally, if I had the wok, I would still have enough room to add the sausages once they're baked.
Yeah.
In this case, we won't have any room in this pan, but they're all going to join the same sauce, so now we just let
Right.
it sit a little bit.
So in a perfect world, we would add sausage to this that's already been baking, and then all of this sautés and then goes into the pan. But
That's
in the
correct.
interest of what we're working with, the sausage will go straight into the big, stock pot. So now I think we're ready. We've ready to put the sausage in the oven. So let me put this back over here so that we can. Let's put this over here. I'll bring the sausage over.
Okay.
So here is the other meat that we have, which is sausage. It's a combination of both sweet Italian on the left, and then you can tell the reddish one is the hot Italian.
Correct.
It's a little bit more hot Italian, so a little bit of heat in the sauce, and it's going to go bake in the oven at 375. However, first we
have to
punch it
puncture
up.
holes in the sausages so they don't explode when you try to cut into them once they're cooked.
Yeah.
The fat will have drained out through the hole. So basic fork and sausages, and we just punch them like so. And that'll do the job of releasing the fat into the pan.
And again, if we were to leave them in this particular pan, which is really a cookie sheet, and again, this is a combo oven. It's not a big oven like you have at home. This is the biggest pan we can fit, but we're going to move them into this. So we're going to repurpose our 13 by 9 because it's got higher sides on it. So you may get a little splatter, I suppose. And we're just going to repurpose this.
And it's going to work fine.
So this is going to go into the oven, just like the hamburger went in for roughly an hour at 375. Would the sausages have the same amount of time?
I would say yes.
Yeah. So about an hour, 375. And some people might ask, well, why do you bake them instead of fry them up? And it's more of a health thing? Is it a little healthier to bake them, or?
It's less tending.
Okay.
You let the oven do its job.
Sure.
You maybe halfway through, maybe we'll turn the sausages over to give them an equal browning. You want a nice crispy brown sausage.
Yep. So in the oven they go.
In the oven they go.
And hit OK when you're finished.
And okay.
Yep, you're good, you're good, you're good. Nope, you're good. Very good.
Okay.
Excellent. So, so that's the sausage going in, which is going to need a little time to bake. And as you can see back over here, we're still sauteing the hamburger. It's all cut up into smaller pieces. It's incorporated with all the veggies.
And it's still reducing.
Yep, and the spices, and it will continue to reduce. And all of this is still preparation before it goes into the large pot.
That's correct.
So we've been giving time for the sausage to bake. We've cleaned up quite a bit, and we're sort of transitioning over to get ready to actually build the sauce in the large pan. Here's our 16-quart pan. So at this point, the sausage is ready to come out, so I'll go get that. We've got to cut that up.
Mm-hmm.
And here are our sausages. We got, again, it's a mix of sweet Italian and hot Italian sausage. And at this point, we are now going to
Slice them up.
slice them up.
Depending on what you like, depends on the large or small slices.
Yeah, sort of bite-sized chunks. And
Yeah. Bite small enough to enjoy it, and small enough not to choke on it,
Sure.
which is number one, obviously. Right. Oop, get a little squirt there, huh?
Just a little bit.
Oh, these smell wonderful.
And realistically, when you are making this at home, you would put both your hamburger and your sausage into the oven at about 375 for about an hour, and then you'd pull them all at the same time. But because of, we don't have a traditional oven here, we sort of had to do it a little bit differently. But through the magic of TV, we're keeping this moving for you. So once these are sliced up, we will actually begin to put everything into the pot.
Everything is perfectly cooked, not dried out whatsoever. There we go. Oops.
And that's the trick. Back into the same pan. And,
Just for space.
right, yeah, because again, we're a little bit confined here. It doesn't take much to really use up every inch of
That's
sort of
true.
space that you have, countertop space.
But in this case, I think it worked out pretty well.
So at this point, we are now ready for the final stage of putting everything in the pot.
Want to integrate everything
Yeah.
at this point.
So you said we're using 5 large cans of crushed tomatoes.
Yep, 5 of those are, what are those? Just for the record, those are 20 ounces.
All right, and we opened 4 of them. I'll open the last one.
To make that 28 ounces, I'm sorry.
So 28 ounces.
5 cans, 28 ounces apiece.
Right. You gotta watch out. You keep hitting that. All right, so we've got that last one open. Always careful with these lids. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna start popping those in, huh?
Yes, we
So here we go. So we've got, like I said, we've got over on the range, we've got our 16-quart pan. An indigo, 5 cans of crushed tomatoes. I would drop that down lower. There you go.
All right, just want to fill that one with water.
Sure. Otherwise, those go in there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're going to go from 1 to 1. That's right.
Yes.
Enough.
We're just going to dump water in one can and dump it in each other can to get all the tomato juice out of the can. I'm sorry, the crushed tomato.
This is called squeezing every bit of what's in the can out.
This is true. No waste. Something that the people that grew up in the 40s
That's right.
relish. No waste.
And now,
A can of paste.
this is the paste, which is,
This is a large can of paste.
and this is really to thicken the sauce.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And this is almost.
And as we start to put stuff in, they'll get in even tighter, so you can see what's going on in that pan. We're gonna add some heat to it as well. So I'm gonna turn this on now. Give it some high heat to start.
Okay.
So
And then,
you've got the meat, but you also have the brown sugar.
that's the last thing.
The very
we put
last
in.
thing, so
Very
we'll put
last
that
thing
in.
we put in.
Okay.
So, we're ready to incorporate the mixture of Hamburg, celery, onions, and garlic, and mushrooms incorporated into the pan.
That slides up, not too bad.
Oh, that's what I like about that. Notice how deep it's getting, Gary.
Yes, it is. We were talking about whether or not this large pan or pot was going to be too large for what we were doing, but nope. Always go with the guy with the experience.
There you go. Thank you for that. I'm here all week. All right. Gary's going to incorporate the sausages, all cut up, hot and sweet,
So
and all the juice.
that's right. And these are hot Italian and sweet Italian, with a little bit of the fat. There wasn't really so much that we wanted to drain it off.
Just for the spice
Yeah.
of the hot sausages, actually.
I'm going to slide
now.
this back a little bit now. There we go.
One more can of water.
And that's the beauty of it. If you want more water to make it a little bit less thick, then you just do
Plus,
it the way you want to.
As it simmers, it's going to boil away some of that water to begin with.
Right.
And that should be fine, I think.
Nice. We have the heat on.
We do.
Now we will bring it up. Do you have any suggestions? Do you bring it up on a high heat and then reduce it to a simmer, or what do you do?
I just leave it on a low heat, constant.
Low heat constant.
And the last ingredient is our dark brown sugar, plopped right in there.
And again, notice he said dark, because when we're getting the ingredients, I wasn't sure if we should go with the light or the dark. And
You can use
either.
either one, actually.
But-
the dark has a little more
Yeah,
concentration,
that's your preference.
and that's about it. So.
So, there you go. So after all the different things we did, all the work, this is the final culmination now of it being in the pot. And now it simmers.
Yes.
So we're going to put this top on and just leave a little bit of room.
Yeah, we're going to put
You don't want to seal the cover on.
No.
Right? It seems to be centered there. We'll let that simmer. So we're going to let this simmer a little bit, and then we'll come back briefly just to plate this with some linguine so that you can see the finished product.
Yes.
So the sauce has been simmering.
Yes.
We have boiled up some linguine because you have to put this with pasta. Well, you don't have to.
You
But
can use anything you want.
that's right.
All by itself is fine.
So we're ready to just plate this so you can see the final result. So we're going to put a little bit of the linguine. And then Chef Dad will top it off with the good stuff.
Yes. Good helping of meat, vegetables, and sausage.
And just like they do in the restaurant, we'll sort of finish off the plate. And then there you have it. This is the finished plate, which is the whole point. 0 right in on that. That is the spaghetti sauce, the Muse family spaghetti sauce. Started with my grandmother, your mother, to you, and now you passed it down to us.
Yeah.
So
I wish
looks
she was
delicious.
here to taste it.
I know, huh? Looks delicious.
Yeah.
So we had fun doing this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. I don't think we've ever spent this much time in a kitchen together.
No, we have not.
So thanks for tuning in. Perhaps you have your own recipe, or you'll make something similar to this, and hopefully it's as good.
As long as you enjoy it.
Yeah. And the crew will definitely take part in trying this out. So
All right.
thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
And so from the two Garys, thanks for tuning in, and mange.
Manja, enjoy.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.